Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman for yielding time to me. I'll just tell you, I've spent at least a couple of weeks on the border this year alone. Multiple times I've been in every facility that I can find, and I get down there as often as I can. I talk almost daily to folks who live along the border, and I get a chuckle, if it weren't so doggone serious, when I hear people say, oh, yeah, no, there's no drugs coming across the border. We're getting it on the ocean. We're getting it on the ocean. That's where we're stopping. Well, I'll tell you one thing. In the Tucson sector, 40% of the drugs that come into this country from the south, they come in through the Tucson sector. You know why? There are 75 miles of open border. You got one port of entry. Has a fence of about 1.5 miles each side of it. Then you've got single-strand barbed wire for as far as you can see. You got 4-strand barbed wire. You know what it's holding it up to? It's coming up to the bollard fencing. It's got a slip knot in case you need to get into the country. And you can stand there and look at the 5 paths that come across. They all come right to that place where the slip knot is. I'll tell you one thing. If you've got a problem with an emergency declaration, then you just simply don't know what an emergency is. 1.1 million people have surrendered or been apprehended at the border this year. Another million or so we don't even know have come across. We've let 1.2 million people come in legally this year. And you want to tell me you don't have a border crisis? You've got opioid addiction and overdoses killing people. You've got people coming in unvetted. You had 1,000 people come in from where? The Congo. The Congo, right through the Rio Grande Valley. I'm telling you something. For you to stand there and say you don't think this is an emergency means you just simply aren't paying attention. And this president has the authority because Congress delegated that authority to the President of the United States of America to deal with emergencies. And this becomes a true crisis, a true emergency. I'll just give you one thing. Mr. Chairman, if I can have 30 more seconds.
Another minute.
Gentleman is recognized for an additional 1 minute.
Thank you. I thank the chairman, the gentleman. And I'll tell you what. I was at one place, the most remote border entry we have got in the entire country. It's only open 9 to 4. We have 3 customs agents assigned there. We got 1 Border Patrol agent that actually lives there in a double-wide mobile home. I won't say what his name is, but let's just say it's Bob. Night before I got there, 2 a.m., 255 people, cartel-driven, because there's no place 40 miles, 30, 40 miles. That's the nearest town. 250 people dropped off, and they all go up, and they knock on the door of the mobile wide, and I say, hey, Bob, they're reading from paper, we declare asylum. I talked to an agent. He tells me that he'd been exposed in the last 6 weeks to hepatitis A, B, and C, measles, mumps, lice, scabies. He said, and don't forget, a skin-eating bacteria that they hadn't been able to identify yet. That's not a border crisis? You don't want to address that? I'm telling you, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed today. I thank the president for having the courage to do it. And you know what? If you want more money, get him more money for Coast Guard. I'll support that. I yield back.